Jamie Buckland with the West Virginia FUE, Families United for Education, talking with Kevin Chavis from Stride. He is the president with Stride, and I'm so excited. Kevin, thank you so much for taking time and for being so patient while I wrestled through my technical difficulties to get us on here. So why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your role with Stride.
Well, thank you so much, Jamie. And first of all, I want to commend you for your work and FUE for its work on behalf of parents. I think that parents' involvement in education and the issue of parent choice is a centerpiece for what needs to happen to make sure that all kids get the education they deserve. At Stride, we're the largest online education company in the country. We've been in existence over 20 years. We started as a curriculum company that provided curriculum for homeschool families. Then as more and more states allow for the virtual education online option, we began to operate schools as a vendor. And we don't own any schools, but we operate schools as a vendor where we provide curriculum, teacher training, provide platform support, and we also work with school districts as well as charter schools. We served over 2 million students over the past 20 years. And we also, as you might imagine, as a result of the pandemic, our involvement in school districts and charter schools has grown because we are the experts in making sure that kids get what they deserve. One thing that's really exciting about our work now, the past several years, we've made a big push into supporting career learning in our schools. We also have been working with the adult education population to upskill, reskill, new skill adults who want to change careers, get certifications, go into healthcare, go into STEM or technology. We now are a learning company that encompasses all aspects of learning from cradle to the grave. But our core business has, Jamie, generally been around the K-12 space. And I can tell you right now, we couldn't be more excited to be working with the nonprofit charter board that is running the new West Virginia Career Academy. We will be providing support, working with the new head of school, and we actually think that parents are going to enjoy this option. It's not for everybody, but it's an option I think many kids will enjoy.
Yeah, so we were talking a little bit before we pushed record, and you we're talking about the direction that you want to go in here in West Virginia is to have this emphasis on that career training. And can you tell us more about what you see that looking like in these next 2 to 3 years?
Well, I tell you one thing that we're super excited about. As I said, we're a vendor, so we like to work with folks locally, and we're very excited to have our new head of school is Doug Cipoletti, who is a career learning expert in the state. He worked with West Virginia Department of Education, and his expertise fits squarely in with our vision. Our vision is that we want to provide for West Virginia students career pathways opportunities in business, healthcare, information technology. Work with local employers, businesses. And by the way, Jamie, as I told you, there are 34,000 jobs available in West Virginia that don't require a college degree. But if you can get these kids interested in these pathways, get them the skills they need, get them certified, get them internships during the summer with some of these employers that we're going to be working with Doug. And then when they graduate, they can have jobs, high-paying jobs. I mean, that's really what it's all about. And the other thing is, you know, college is great for some kids, but these loans are out of control. 200,000 West Virginia residents, former students, owe $7 billion in loans. And I believe that, you know, in education, I believe more in learning and the ability to learn and grow. And to keep our kids, particularly the West Virginia kids, excited about learning and growing, offering these career pathways, I think is part of the future. And to do it online, we can accomplish a lot of goals. One is kids will be able to work in a format that they understand. I mean, Jamie, you've got kids. I've got 5-year-old grandson and 2-year-old granddaughter, and they know this thing better than me. Okay, and kids warm to that stuff. And my granddaughter kept saying to me this past weekend, "Grandpa, let me see your phone." And I finally said, "Well, I don't know, because I may not be able to get back in it. She'll change the password on me." So we're excited that we can work with someone local like Doug to get this going and get kids excited about learning. And at the same time, recognizing that not every family is going to want it, but that option is so important. Parent choice is really important.
And I love that what I'm hearing from you is that many may think with the virtual charter option, it's just going to be this one size fits all, but that's not what you're describing at all. So what you're describing is really meeting the student where they are, meeting the family where they are, and trying to look at them as an individual, in a holistic approach to their education. And, you know, I'm born and raised here in Southern West Virginia. My husband works full-time as a phone and internet technician, and then also owns and operates a couple of dump trucks. I don't have a college degree. I've managed to homeschool my children for the last 15 years and graduate 2 of them. And so we definitely believe in this holistic approach to the individual and being able to meet them where they are. And it's exciting to think about the business opportunities for entrepreneurs like me or like my husband, who could then partner with this nonprofit for these apprenticeships, if you will, for opportunities to really work with them. So you mentioned earlier that there were 3 categories. It was health and what else that you're going to focus on? Healthcare,
business, and information technology. And in each of those areas, one thing we're going to do is work with West Virginia business groups, try to understand where these job vacancies are, not just now, but over the next 3 to 5 years. What does the future look like in terms of business opportunities in these discrete pathway areas? Work with Doug and West Virginia DOE to try to understand what do we need to do to make sure we have the right certifications. What do we make sure that we're checking the boxes with the local department, and then find out which of these employers we can actually get to work with us to give internships to these kids who've completed a couple of these courses and may be ready as they go toward their certifications and skill acquisition, ready for some internships. And one thing about the virtual experience, I know it was rough for some families, but as I said to you, Jamie, before we went on live, is there's a difference between emergency remote learning and online learning administered by people who know what they're doing. We know how to engage kids in the online setting that those kids that it works for. And so we also are aware of the socialization aspect. We do things like esports and spelling bees and art contests and folk photography contests and meetups. And then we have get-togethers. And, we're going to work with Doug to make sure that even though it's a virtual experience, that there's some socialization aspect as they're developing their skills. And that's what makes this so exciting. Again, I say over and over, Jamie, we know it's not for every child, but we also know that parents are concerned about safety in schools now. They're concerned about, making sure their kids have a future employment opportunity where they don't have to go into debt. They want to make sure that kids feel like they are engaged in learning. And I think the most important thing we can do is to keep kids, as a homeschool parent, to keep kids excited about learning. We feel that what we're doing in this career learning space, working with local leaders, is keeping our kids engaged so that they will be stimulated and curious about what's possible. I think that's the most important thing.
And you all are enrolling students kindergarten through 10th grade this year, with adding on the 11th and the 12th and those subsequent years as you get there. But I love that you guys are already looking 3 to 5 years down the road. What do we want this to look like? And of course, from our perspective as the West Virginia FUE, our client is the family. And so looking at this for our families, how this could actually help transform K-12 education, which is what we want to see happen here in the Mountain State. And so it's exciting for me to think about the possibilities. I know that our state has broadband concerns, but I also know that there are active initiatives to address those concerns. And I'm hearing more about even locals getting involved to demand that, and hopefully we'll see that continue to improve. But I love your approach to this, in that it may not be the perfect solution, but it's definitely one of the partial solutions. So it's exciting that we're going to get to launch into 22-23 with this as an option for enrollment. So where would a family go if they want to learn more about West Virginia Virtual Academy?
That's a great question. And in fact, I think there are 2 ways they can reach out to us. One is through the phone number. That's 855-637-1441. That's 855-637-1441. And also online, wvva.k12.com. WVVA, West Virginia Virtual Academy.k12.com. And we're enrolling students now. Phones are ringing. We're glad to see that. And more than anything, Jamie, as you said, we realize that this is an opportunity to help transform education for those families that like this option. You're a big advocate of parent choice. FUE that's what you are all about. Mm-hmm. I believe that less is not more. The more options you can provide, the better for families, because then they have choices. It's like when you go to a restaurant or a buffet line, I want this, I want that, I want this, I don't want that. The more we can do it, and kids need that now. Kids are so different, and they respond to different approaches. This is one that I think will benefit those kids that respond to it.
Yeah, when we look at the landscape in West Virginia, we only introduced virtual, even at that county or state level, in 2017 is when it was passed. And then I think it was enacted. I don't even know that it was enacted in 2017. It may have been in 2018. But even that, it's only required, the counties only have to offer it for 6th through 12th grade. So in a lot of counties, they don't have an elementary virtual option through their public school system. Yeah. And so we try to look at this in that we're pretty indifferent in what a parent chooses for their child, private, public school, homeschool. We're pretty indifferent on what they choose, but we want to make sure that the parent is in a position to make an informed choice, because we do believe that parents are in the best position to choose how their children are educated. And so it's important to us that they are connected to the experts. I'm excited, of course, you were the one, I'm gonna get that Doug, because I can't believe that you were the one to give me the news on this. So I'm gonna get onto him and send this to Shannon as soon as we get done here. But it's so exciting that you've got local folks from the K-12 world, from the education world, that are partnering to see this happen. So thank you so much for spending some time with me this afternoon and with our families. And I look forward to hearing more about what you all are able to do for our families here in West Virginia.
Well, Jamie, thank you for having me. And to all the West Virginia parents out there, just give us a call, see if it makes sense. We're excited to work with Doug and the entire team to grow the learning experience for your children. And Jamie, just keep me posted. If you need anything, let me know. I'd be happy to join anytime.
Absolutely. I feel like this is the beginning of an exciting partnership. I'm excited to get to talk with you more as things develop. You have a great afternoon. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much. Take care. Be safe.